It was a rainy Tuesday morning when 8-year-old Emily Carter trudged up the cracked sidewalk toward Crestwood Elementary. Her backpack, faded pink with a broken zipper, hung awkwardly over one shoulder. Inside, there was no math homework. She had done that last night at the laundromat while her mom folded other people's clothes for $9 an hour. The only thing she carried for lunch was a small glass jar of water and a wrapped slice of homemade bread. Emily wasn't embarrassed at first. Bread was still food. Water quenched thirst. She knew her mom had skipped dinner last night so Emily could eat. She also knew the electricity bill was overdue, and the only reason they still had lights was because the landlord's wife had forgotten to send the shut-off notice. But at school, kindness was rare. When lunch period came, Emily sat alone at the far corner table, the one near the noisy vending machine. She unwrapped her bread slowly, trying to savor every bite, sipping water from the jar. The cafeteria smelled of pizza, fried chicken, and chocolate milk. That's when the whispers started. "Look at her lunch," a boy snickered. "That's all she's eating," a girl giggled, loud enough for her friends to hear. Another voice, crueler, chimed in, "Maybe she's on a bread diet. Guess her family can't afford real food." Emily kept her head down, cheeks burning. The laughter stung more than the hunger in her stomach. Across the room, Mr. Randall, the janitor, noticed. He had seen it before, kids picking on the quiet ones. But he also knew the school's rules: don't interfere unless it gets physical. Still, he frowned and made a mental note. That day, Emily didn't tell her mother. She didn't want to make her feel worse. But the teasing didn't stop. Day after day, her bread and water lunch became a joke, a meme in the cruel little ecosystem of 4th grade. What Emily didn't know was that the school principal had a visitor scheduled for Friday, a man she had only seen once on TV, in a business interview her mom watched while ironing clothes. Jonathan Hale, CEO of Hale Industries, a global tech giant, worth hundreds of millions. Why would a man like him visit a small-town school? No one knew. But he was an alumnus, and apparently, the district was hoping for a charitable partnership. Friday came. The rain was gone, replaced by a pale winter sun. Emily sat in her usual seat at lunch, bread and water in front of her. The laughter started again, softer this time, but still enough to make her shoulders hunch. And then, the room went quiet. A tall man in a tailored charcoal suit walked straight past the principal, past the teachers, and sat right beside Emily. The entire cafeteria froze. Jonathan Hale didn't open with small talk. He glanced at her jar of water, at the bread in her hand, and then reached into his leather briefcase. He pulled out his own lunch, 2 slices of bread and a bottle of water. "Mind if I join you?" he asked, as if the two of them had been friends for years. Emily blinked. "Okay." And that's when he said something that would echo in her memory for the rest of her life. "When I was your age, this was all I had too. Bread and water. And I thought I'd be stuck with it forever, but I was wrong." The cafeteria was silent. The kids who used to laugh now just stared. Something was about to happen, and no one knew exactly what. Emily's fingers curled around her bread, hesitant. You had the same lunch?" she asked, her voice almost a whisper. Jonathan Hale smiled, not the practiced, camera-ready smile he used in interviews, but a softer, gentler one. "Every day. My dad worked 3 jobs, my mom cleaned houses. Bread was cheap. Water was free. That's how we made it work." Some of the kids nearby leaned closer, pretending not to eavesdrop. He continued, "The thing is, Emily, people laughed at me, too. Called me prison boy because my lunch looked like something from a jail movie. I hated it. But I learned something: hunger can break you, or it can make you fight harder." Emily didn't know what to say. No one had ever talked to her like this. Like her situation wasn't just a sad fact, but a story with a future. Jonathan tore his bread in half, dipping it into his water like it was soup. "This isn't shameful," he said. "This is survival. And survival is strength." The cafeteria stayed unusually quiet that day. Even the vending machine seemed to hum softer. Then Jonathan did something unexpected. He pulled a folded check from his briefcase and slid it across the table toward the principal, who was still standing in shock. "This," he said, "is for the school lunch program. Every kid here gets a hot meal, no charge, for the rest of the year. No more teasing over what's in anyone's lunchbox." Gasps rippled through the room. The principal stammered something about paperwork, but Jonathan waved it off. "Already handled. My assistant emailed you last night. You just didn't know it was coming from me." He turned back to Emily. "And you," he said, his tone softer, "I want you to remember something. Where you are now is just a chapter, not the whole book. Someday, you'll be in a position to help someone else. And when that day comes, you'll know exactly how it feels." Emily felt something warm swell in her chest, not just gratitude, but a strange, new kind of hope. A cool autumn breeze swept through the campus courtyard. College sophomore Emily Carter carried a paper cup of coffee, heading toward the tutoring center where she volunteered twice a week. She wasn't rich, not yet, but she had a scholarship, a part-time job, and enough to cover rent and food. Inside the center, she saw a small boy sitting alone, clutching a piece of bread and a bottle of water. His shoes were worn, his eyes downcast. Emily stopped. The cafeteria at Crestwood flashed in her memory. The teasing. The bread. The jar of water. And a man in a charcoal suit who had changed her life with a single conversation. She sat down beside the boy. "Hey," she said gently, "mind if I join you?" When he nodded, she tore her sandwich in half and pushed it toward him. "You know," she said, "when I was your age, this was all I had too, and I thought I'd be stuck with it forever. But I was wrong." The boy looked up, curious. Emily smiled. "This isn't shameful. This is survival. And survival is strength." Emily never forgot that Friday in the cafeteria. Jonathan Hale's gift to the school had done more than feed hungry children, it had planted seeds of empathy in an entire generation of students. Years later, when she finally met Jonathan again at a charity event, she thanked him. He just shook his head. "I didn't give you anything you didn't already have," he said. "All I did was remind you it was there." And Emily knew he was right. Because bread and water might have been her lunch once, but it had also been her beginning.